Okay. Welcome back, everyone, to Utterly Understandable this week. Obviously, something that's incredibly topical at the moment is what's happening in Ukraine. What I've asked Robbie to talk to about today, given the European dairy market is both a big producer and consumer, is what his view is around how the current troubles in Ukraine will impact on the dairy market. So over to you, Robbie.
Cheers. Thank you, Hamish. Yeah, obviously it's a very tense and difficult situation in Ukraine at the moment that is, reverberating around the globe, on a geopolitical aspect, but also through supply chains and, dairy, like others, is not immune to this. First and foremost, there's obviously big impacts on energy pricing. We're very likely to see, further pressure put on that, on the upside. In the short run, every day it seems oil is now reaching new highs, and there's kind of no reason to think that it'll back away anytime soon. So energy pricing is obviously, a lot of energy used in processing dairy that will, make its way through the dairy supply chain and cause further difficulties. There's also going to be really big impacts on grains. Ukraine is a very big producer, as is Russia as well. The result being that those markets are going to find, a lot of increased risk, a lot of disruption in terms of moving product, reduced harvest capabilities, etc. This is going to, result in upside pressure as well, and this will flow through to dairy in terms of, causing increased pressure on feedstock for milk production. So that's going to be, another area to keep an eye on. That's already having big impacts. Additionally, a lot of precursor, a lot of base materials for fertilizers also comes out of that region as well. So again, further disruption, expected in the fertilizer market. And if you look at where we are, we're at the start of March. We're, starting to enter into spring. As we enter into spring, the cows go outside. We're moving towards our peak, our flush, in kind of late April, May sort of time. And, impacts on, grains and fertilizer are going to have impacts on, how much feed is available for cows out there. So, we could potentially see that flowing through, depending on how the weather plays out. Could be a situation where milk volumes aren't what they could be. And again, that can add further upside pressure. I'm certainly not looking for it to be the other way around at this point in time. And then just wider supply chain disruptions. The whole region is obviously at a point of instability that just further disrupts supply chains and leads to further uncertainties, which, we know is risk, and risk is always expensive. So more uncertainty, more disruption, more risk, it's all looking more expensive in reality. So in the short term, I would say, if you're a dairy buyer and you're not covered, I wouldn't take my time here. I think there's an impetus to really move forward and make sure that, you've got the cover you need. Vice versa, on the south side, it's by no means is it the time to hold back and stockpile, because there are a lot of complications in supply chains and things like that you still want to keep the product moving for sure. So it's really it's not a great outlook when you factor it into the other post-COVID inflationary activity that's going on. It's it's going to be very difficult on consumers in the short to medium term, and hopefully not the long term. Not good news for the dairy industry, but hopefully that gives It gives us all something to think about and something to to take a planning step forward.
Yeah. No, thanks for that, Robbie. That was a good sort of overview of the implications, and I think it'll definitely give people some things to think about. And obviously, there's the concern for the citizens of Ukraine as well. So, thanks for another week, Robbie, and we'll see you next time.